1 year after the Siva crisis, the tower and the last city are suddenly blacked out from all communications and brutally attacked by the Red Legion. As the city falls under a fearsome aerial siege from the Cabal, the Guardians do their superhero thing and protect the city. Dominus Ghaul, the enigmatic power-hungry leader of the Red Legion, attaches a powerful device on the Traveler and sucks the light out of it. The Guardians immediately start to lose their power and stand no chance without their infinite life cheat code. Our Guardian is trapped by Ghaul, but instead of killing him in his weakened state, Ghaul makes a dramatic and unnecessary speech about being a badass. Yeah, he tends to do that.
You're not brave. You've merely forgotten the fear of death. Allow me to reacquaint you.
After he finishes his soliloquy, he decides to kick our Guardian off the ledge instead of just, I don't know, maybe shooting him in the face. The Guardian falls like 1,000,000 feet from the sky, and even without the Traveler's light, he miraculously survives the fall. Because, well, otherwise there wouldn't be a game. Luckily, his ghost is only a couple yards away, and he heals our Guardian. Good as new. The Guardian and Nolanbot escape the city and find their way to the farm, a safe space in the European Dead Zone. With the help of Hawthorne, a Guardian hater, our hero finds the Shard of the Traveler. We regain our light and become an immortal ass-kicker again. Meanwhile, Ghaul has captured the Speaker and is desperately trying to figure out how he can become worthy of the Traveler's light. He doesn't want to just take the light by force, but rather wants to be worthy of the light, mostly because of his massive inferiority complex and probably daddy issues. The Speaker does his best Yoda impersonation and describes the light as an all-encompassing entity that touches all things, and only those worthy will be blessed by it. We find out that Ghaul is basically one of those Spartan babies who got tossed out as a child, but gets saved by an outcast and a disgraced scholar hell-bent on vengeance. Ghaul feels that his lifelong suffering and sacrifice makes him worthy of the light of the Traveler. But the Speaker, who speaks for the Traveler, flatly tells Ghaul that he will never be worthy.
I know your kind. You started small. You will end small.
The Force is strong in this one. Back on the farm, our hero gets a message from Zavala, asking all Guardians to regroup on Titan.
Guardians, the city is lost. If there is any light left in the system, we rally on Titan. Be brave.
When we get to Titan, we discover that it's already been overrun by the Hive, and since the Guardians are all weaklings now, Zavala nearly gives up. Little did he know that we got our Superman powers back. We single-handedly demolish the Hive, turn on all the power on the base, and save countless lives, all in a day's work for your friendly neighborhood Guardian. With the communications back online, we learn that Ghaul possesses a star-destroying weapon known as the Almighty. With it, he destroyed hundreds of stars and all life in those star systems.
Ghaul has subjugated hundreds of worlds. Those that resisted no longer exist. You see, the Almighty annihilates stars.
Zavala is determined to destroy the weapon or die trying, but first he wants us to find Ikora Rey and Cayde 6 so he can get the band back together. After we find Cayde and Ikora, the Vanguard reconvene at the farm to lay out a plan. They decide that the only way to successfully defeat Ghaul and the Cabal is to destroy the Almighty first, then retake the last city.
This is great. Anyone want a hug? Hugs? No? No hugs.
In order to get on the Almighty, they break Thumos the Unbroken. Haha, see what we did there? Yeah, or I guess what they did there. Anyways, they steal his ship and sneak onto the Almighty. Our Guardian obliterates everything in his path and then Death Stars the shit out of the Almighty. Back on Earth, Ghaul is still desperately trying to convince the Speaker to give him the secret to get into the Traveler's good graces when he is informed that the Almighty has been destroyed. We find out that Ghaul's right-hand man, the Consul, is the outcast scholar who saved him. He demands Ghaul to stop being a little bitch and do what he came to do.
This fixation is over. You have already been chosen, not by some inert machine, but by me. I chose you the day I found you.
Ghaul, out of anger, strangles the Consul and finally decides to take the light by force since he will never truly be worthy. Zavala, Cayde, and Ikora fight their way through the city and help us get to Ghaul's command ship. Ghaul has now taken the light by force and has completed his turn to the dark side. He makes more dramatic speeches about being a god and a legend, and then we destroy him within 5 minutes. I guess we're gods and legends too. And just when we think it's all over, Gaul goes all Jedi and becomes more powerful than we can possibly imagine. He becomes a skyscraper-sized ghost and starts gloating to the dormant traveler. He asks the traveler, "Do you see me now?" Because, as we know, all he ever wanted was attention. The traveler finally wakes up after hundreds of years of sleep and wipes out Gaul like nothing. Gaul, unfortunately, will never resolve his daddy issues. The Guardians enjoy the sweet nectar of victory as they stare off into the distance, watching the Traveler protect their city. The Traveler suddenly sends out a massive shockwave of light throughout the entire solar system. We see the light stretching out across the planets until we see it activate a fleet of mysterious ships. Bum bum bum! This wouldn't be Destiny if there weren't a teaser for the next DLC.